Hi, today's video is about the power of faith in contracts and the impact that faith has on the way that we negotiate our contractual relationships. Now, that you might think is a bit of a strange thing to talk about, given that contracts are written factual documents here. We're not generally thinking about your contract as something requiring faith. In fact, you could argue that having a contract is the absence of faith. It's saying we're not going to rely on what the parties believe the other one's going to do. We're going to write it all down so that it's nice and clear and crisp and easily understandable by anybody that cares to read it. And that indeed is what the contract is for. And yet, I'm sure you'll have been in a position where you've looked at a contract, someone's given you their document, and you've had a little read and you've come across a bit that says, I don't know, you agree to indemnify us against anything that ever happens anywhere in connection with this contract to an unlimited sum. And you say to the other party, well, that looks a bit scary. You know, are you going to sue me for an unlimited sum of money in respect of anything that happens remotely connected to this contract? I don't think I agree with that. And what does the other party say? They say, oh, don't worry. We've never yet enforced that clause against anybody. We wouldn't do it. We just have to have it in there to keep the lawyers happy. But don't you worry, it won't affect you. So they're asking you to have faith in them that this clause that's written in their contract, that's entirely enforceable in their contract, is never going to be invoked. So just trust them, it'll all be fine. Now, you can probably sense from my voice that I don't think this is a terribly brilliant idea. And it happens surprisingly frequently. When we look through agreements, we often encounter provisions that are so blatantly one-sided, so terribly unfair. When we push back to the other party, they say, oh, well, we would never enforce that. We wouldn't do that. That's not how it works in reality. Don't worry, it'll be fine. So what do? You sign, you take it on faith, you cross your fingers and you hope that that person is A, going to stay in position for the whole duration of your contract and they're not going to be replaced by somebody who decides that actually they really would like to enforce these mean and nasty terms in the contract, and B, isn't going to change their mind and decide at some point in the future that they would like to enforce the terms. It's not a good plan. So if somebody ever tries to persuade you to sign something on the basis that, don't worry, it's okay, we've never enforced it, we'd never enforce it against you either, say, fine, let's just take it out, shall we? If you're never going to enforce it, if it doesn't matter, if it's not relevant, we'll just strike it out, put a line through it, and it won't appear in our contract. Because whatever they might be, contracts are no place for faith. And if somebody has created a right for themselves in the contract document, you should expect them to be able to enforce that right at any time in the future. So, faith and contracts don't mix. Make sure that if it's not applicable, it comes out. And then you'll have beautiful, clean, neat contracts where you know that every term in that contract could be enforced and the other party knows that they're entitled to enforce every term in that contract if they so chose. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check back on freecontractadvice.com from time to time and see what other videos we've got up. And of course, if there's any particular question that you have, please do drop me a line through the website. I'm Tiffany. There's a contact form, there's a Freudian slip for you. There's a contact form on every page on the site, and of course there's a comments field below each post in the blog too. So if you want to add your thoughts and comments on this topic, please do, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.